Good evening and welcome to the October 28th special board meeting. Would you establish the quorum, please?
Good afternoon. Board Member Deborah Benson.
Present.
Board Member Fernando Navarro.
Present.
Board Member Alonzo Terry.
Present.
Board Vice President Walter Ruley.
I'm sure he's on his way.
Board President Diane Gibson Gray.
Here. With that, if we will all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, now we have public comment for individuals to address the board regarding items not on the agenda from the public.
I do not have any speaker cards.
So they're all on 3. So with that, we will move to let Walter in. Thank you. And we will go to the first action item on our agenda, and that would be rocket ship charter petition proposed calendar. Superintendent?
Yes. We are proposing the dates that are listed on the staff report. Sorry, I brought a hard copy. We're proposing that it come before the board on October 26th for.
Okay, let's just get it up here. Maybe that'll make it easier.
I'm sorry, where is it?
We're again on
I'm
this
sorry.
new system, so
November 9th
special board
and
meeting.
propose
Yeah.
December 7th. Just would
Okay.
give us enough time to thoroughly review the petition. And also, if deficiencies are found, we think it would allow more time for rocket ship to be able to address those.
Okay. Let me, I'm just going to read
I
it.
did bring my glasses.
It says, staff needs time to adequately review the charter petition in order to make a recommendation to either approve or deny the petition. If deficiencies are found in the petition, staff believes rocket ship should be given time to correct those deficiencies if possible. And that would be reason for the November 9th and December 7th date. So with that, I just assume we go to conversation.
Sure.
Okay. So who would like to speak first on this item?
I would. I wanted to get some clarification. On October 12th, we had I guess because the language for the motion wasn't clear, we only ended up voting for the acceptance of the petition. We had a lengthy conversation, it's all in audio, where we were in agreement with the dates of November 2nd and November 28th. So that was the main concern that we had. We want to make sure that for reasons of continuity and transparency, that the same board that reviews the information is the same board members that do the vote.
So I would like to address that. That's correct, and that is what Chris Lern had said at that meeting, that it was important for the same board, that he felt it was important for the same board to hear it and either approve or deny the petition. And the county is certifying late this year, and so you will be the board that's voting on the petition on the proposed date.
So that was my second question. When is the official swearing in for?
The county is actually certifying results on the 13th this year. As you know, the ballot is much bigger than it's ever been with more initiatives. So that pushed the date back. So this matter will come before this board on both of those dates.
Okay. I still wouldn't want it to run that close. I like to keep it the way the board had agreed to previously.
I don't recall an agreement. I think Chris brought up a couple of dates and we called them tentative was my
Right. They were
recollection.
tentative to rocket ship. They were tentative to the board. I did not feel I left the meeting with an affirmative of those dates. When we spoke with rocket ship, they suggested that they were flexible.
Correct.
So we said, okay, perhaps we should just stay with our planned board dates, which would be the 16th of November and the 14th of December. Rocket ship responded, no, that won't work for them. So then we went back and we said, okay, so let's work on the 9th and the 7th. And you asked a question, when does the board get sworn in? The new board gets sworn in on the 14th. So on the 7th, you would still be voting on whether or not to accept or deny the petition.
Understood.
And so we have that confirmed from the elections office, that those dates are firm, that you're presenting to the board
Yes.
tonight.
Yes, we also have, our attorney has also confirmed that.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have that in writing?
No, but our attorney's here if you'd like him.
I have it.
Yeah.
Point of order. Would the attorney like to respond, or?
Sure.
But thank you, Robert.
My name is William Schutz. I'm with Dennis Oliver Kelly, your legal counsel. Based on correspondence that was received from the county clerk and also confirmed by the County Office of Education, the elections aren't official until the county supervisor declares the winners in the election. And they're in that correspondence, they determined that their meeting for that is on the December 13th. And so it appears from that newly elected board members aren't eligible to be sworn in until after the county supervisor's meeting the 13th and can't perform their duties until they are sworn in. So even though the term of the current board members or current non-reelected board members expires December 1st, pursuant to your policy, it's the first meeting in December, they shall continue to discharge their duties until their successor is qualified. So based on, we're relying on representations by the county clerk and the County Office of Education according to those timelines.
Are you at liberty to share that correspondence with us?
I have a copy.
Yeah.
I'm happy to share with you. Sure.
Questions from this side?
I just want some clarification, and just because I had asked Chris the last meeting before last about the 2nd and the 28th, and I just want to make sure, where did we drop the ball that we didn't have clarification?
I'll answer that, Mr. Learned. We actually, in speaking with our attorneys, they thought it was a very tight timeline for them to do a review with integrity, which we think we owe it to Rocket Ship and to all of our other constituents to thoroughly review the petition. And so when we looked at the timeline, we thought it was quite compressed, and if we could still make it within the required 60 days, but yet, again, do it with what we felt was even a deeper dive, looking at that was beneficial to the district and to Rocket Ship.
And who is we?
Cabinet.
And I can speak to the level of work that it takes to review a petition thoroughly for legal sufficiency. Literally hundreds of pages have been submitted as part of this petition, and there's certain legal criterion that we're looking at to see that it meets, whether it's demonstrably unlikely, the unsound education program, and there's whether it has reasonably comprehensive descriptions of elements. So it's a very labor-intensive project, and I think it should, we always feel, I think as any potential authorizer, that it should be taken very seriously because of the, they're planning to start a school that's going to be serving students that are part of the district. So it's something that needs to be looked at very carefully. And it's something that can't be done, quickly. I think we were trying to even get an extension to the timeline for action, which the education does allow, but Rocket Ship is not agreeable to that, so we are taking action within that 60 days that's required by the Education Code.
So since it requires an extensive deep dive, has the board received the full copy of the petition, or have we received only portions of it?
We received the link, and
You received the full petition.
Okay, thank you. Just want to be sure.
It's also online.
Thank you.
I have no arguments with your position about the deep dive. I will say, though, that perception being reality, I think we could have handled the situation better. And in terms of communicating with the board and maybe the public as to these moving dates. So needless to say, these things can get messy, and we don't need more mess than we have to put upon ourselves. So just want to keep this, honest, fair dialogue with everybody concerned, so it doesn't, go down that road. We've seen that too much, presidential politics included. So just don't need the rancor, so.
Any other comments? Okay,
I agree.
I do have a comment. It is the board role to set the agenda, and if you recall, I did ask, I was concerned about the lack of, if our term ended on the 2nd, and then when will we have another role? And as board president, I discussed that with them. It was Chris's opinion that the two bodies, the body that heard the public hearing and the body that heard the action item, should be one and the same. I felt differently, and I happened to be in a position where I could not be in the seat in 2 weeks. So my conversation was that what we could do is have us hear the petition, then invite all candidates and tell them it could be the first thing you hear. They would be prepared to rule on that if they got seated, and that would be it. I don't recall that motion to include a date certain. It didn't have any detail other than we accepted the application. So I know I'm a single person up here, but that is my opinion on this. And I respect your opinions that you feel it might be a little bit intentional, but I don't believe it was intentional.
May I?
Yes, you may.
And the reason why I made the statement I made, because I did a clarification, I asked twice to make sure that I was understanding the dates, because that 28th was an off date for us that we normally wouldn't meet. And my understanding, it was a response, yes, that's the 28th.
The audio is posted online. I don't recall
And
that
it
that
says
was.
tentative for the dates. And when I said the next meeting dates are tentative, and that's what it means. It's still to be determined. If they were firm, I would have said the next dates are. And we can agree to disagree. So with that, I do have public comments. Is this anything else before I open for public comments? The first one is Mr. Ken Kent.
Hello, board. Thank you for having me. I'm very concerned about the timing and the pace of this process. As council said, this is a very labor-intensive process. We owe it to our constituents, to our students and families, to delve very deeply into this, to make a considered evaluation. And I'm concerned both with the timing of the petition in the middle of this election when things are tumultuous, that could it have been saved for a time when there was less going on? Yes, certainly. And I believe that that is a strategy meant to bring us to a hasty decision. And whatever you can do to avoid a hasty decision, I think will benefit the students of Antioch. Now, I'm also concerned with the 24-hour notice for this meeting. I don't see this setting a meeting to hear a petition as an emergency meeting. I think it could have fit the 72-hour minimum requirement for a standard board meeting. We could have had more significant public involvement, true public involvement. If we're talking about open communications, that's something we need to do. We need to take that very seriously. Now, in the last couple of minutes, I've heard twice a mention that Rocket Ship didn't want to do it that way, that it was suggested that we meet on the December 14th, our traditional board meeting, but Rocket Ship didn't want to do that, even though that's within the 60-day time frame. Why is Rocket Ship dictating when our meetings can and can't happen? That does not make sense to me, and I think the board should be the ones to really consider if it fits our schedule. They're coming into our district to serve our students. They shouldn't be able to say, no, that's not going to work for us. If you're a business and you're coming in and you're trying to seek to open a new school, you should make the time. Now, as well as with the extension, I would sincerely hope that the board, knowing the amount of work that goes into this, both for yourselves to bring yourselves up to date, for the staff to make a further determination, that you should ask Rocket Ship as a board for an extension. I think that's the only real way that you can serve the students and families of Antioch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it possible to raise that up again, because I can't see? Not you, Kent. Yes, thank you very much. Next we have Robert Strickler.
Good evening, Board.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to be rude earlier. I just printed this
No,
out from...
and I appreciate
yeah.
it, but
Yes, I know, I was out of order. I should know that, I know the rules. I just wanted to address you and make sure that you please allow the district to do their due diligence in looking through the petition. Also, letting the public already know that it is on the district website for November 9th and December 7th. To change that would be detrimental to the community to say, 3 days, by the way, we've changed it, and most people wouldn't even be aware of that. Thank you.
thank you. And we have the last one, and if anybody has one to turn in, please do it now. Martha Steele Spellman.
Okay, this was not right. Here we go. Good evening. Good afternoon, too. Madam President, members of the board, and the assembled members, community members in the audience. I'm coming to you with an ethical dilemma, not on my part, but on the part of the board who will be discussing a petition from Rocket Ship for the charter school. I'd like to ask that any current board member, any prospective board member, if you've received campaign donations and contributions from Rocket Ship, from a member of the board of directors of Rocket Ship, or from the California Charter Schools Association, to recuse yourselves from this entire process. It's your choice to accept these contributions. At the very least, it's ethically questionable that you would be able to fairly and impartially consider Rocket Ship's petition when you've already taken money from them. I strongly urge you to consider this, and you recuse yourself from any discussion concerning charter schools in Antioch. I appreciate your listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I would like to clarify, and I don't know who will clarify for me, but I believe the latest we could hear this, the Rocket Ship application, would be December 12th.
December 11th.
If we count, my county might be different math skills, but okay, the 11th. So it's out of our hands. We do not have a choice. If Rocket Ship is agreeable, move it forward, then that's fine. But at this point, just as a point of clarification, this board will be hearing it under these circumstances, correct? Okay. Anybody questions, concerns? No. Okay. Now, any other conversation? Because I'm thinking, does anybody want to make a motion or just leave the meetings stand as they are? If we don't do anything, we continue with those dates.
So the dates we have on now is November 9th and December 7th. Is that what we're looking at? Yes. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Hearing no motions, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
Are you making a motion on that?
So I'm clarifying. So these are the dates. And what is the date? What are the dates that the staff want? What was the other dates proposed?
The original dates was the 2nd and the 28th.
Okay, so if we do nothing, the 9th and the 7th are the dates.
That's correct.
Okay, fine. I'm okay with that.
Question.
Yes.
What are the objections of sticking, I think it's too early to go to November 2nd because it's a couple of days away. Sticking to November 9th, but staying with the 28th. What's the
Time. We need the time to thoroughly vet this petition. And going on the 28th it's a problem.
And if I'm correct, if there's problems, we will notify Rocket Ship.
Exactly.
That also allows them time to make corrective action, correct or incorrect?
Yes.
Okay, just that clarification.
And then just another clarification, we also agreed to meet at Deer Valley High School Auditorium.
Because the dates changed, the venue has changed. So the location will be Lone Tree Elementary School at 6 o'clock on both nights.
6?
6 o'clock.
Okay, I'm concerned about that time frame to allow families to arrive, because a lot of families commute and they're really not in Antioch until 7. Is there anything we can do about that time?
You could make a motion to change the dates, the times to 7 p.m.
We could, yes. We
Yeah, we
agree.
can just, yes, I'd like
I
to
don't
see
know.
the time
I-
change.
At this
how we
point,
agree.
I don't know. I would like,
Okay. Here's what I would like the board to consider. The 9th is set in stone. We can't change that because we need 10 days. I would suggest the board make a motion to approve the 7th as the, where you will either deny or approve the petition, and that the meetings be held at 7 o'clock on both dates.
We can piecemeal it out.
Yes, so, anybody not in agreement with that?
So I would make a motion to do it in pieces. So is that fine or no?
What do you mean?
okay, would you like me to run the meeting or would you guys like to? You can take each meeting separately if you'd like. You can say on November 9th, the meeting will be held at this place at this time. Then that can go through. Then you can do a secondary motion if that's your desire as a board.
I agree.
So would you like to make a
I'd
motion?
like to make a motion. I move that we have our first meeting on the 9th of November at 7 p.m. We'd say at, what was the location?
Lone Tree Elementary.
Lone Tree Elementary.
So that's the motion. Is there a second?
So moved.
Then we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Now do you have another motion?
So I make a motion that we have another meeting on December 7th at 7 p.m., Lone Tree Elementary School,
For the action,
for the action of
Final
approving or denying the petition for Rocket Ship Charter School.
clarity is important at this point. There's a motion on the table by Deborah Vinson. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Rulich. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0.
One name.
Why are you named?
Just name.
Okay. You don't have to say why you named. With that, can we have a motion to adjourn? We have no future business.
So moved.
We have a motion by Ms. Vinson,
Second.
second by Mr. Terry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.